Celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month today, we are honoring the courage. And we have the pleasure to interview Andy Alva. Welcome to Latina Today.
Thank you.
Andy, we all have stories. How Andy came to live in the United States and in Cincinnati.
It's quite a story, actually. My mom, she basically, to make it short, my mom came here and brought me and my sister over to the United States thanks to Procter & Gamble. She pretty much worked a lot to try and get us, one step higher than where we were. We weren't in a good spot back home, so yeah, she worked hard and it paid off by grace of God, or whatever you want to call it. We got to move here to the United States, and then we moved from Mexico City to New Jersey, and then to Ohio. So
Ohio. How old you were when you came here to Ohio?
I moved here when I was around, I think I was here in 7th and 8th grade, so actually I might have been 10. It might have been a long time already. I don't know, time passes, so.
You were bullied for years. Tell us about your story about bullying. Being bullied, and what age did that start?
I think bullying, for me personally, it started, it's always been around. Like, I was always, like, a little different from other people, and I guess the only thing that changed really from being smaller to now is the topic of bullying. Like, when I was little, it was because either I was different from other kids, because instead of, playing with them in certain things, like, I would want to do my own thing. So I kind of stood out. But that was the main thing. I stood out. And as I got older, it started getting more political. Like, instead of why you weren't playing this game instead of this game, or why I wanted to, like, talk to girls, you know what I mean? Like, guys back when in kindergarten, they were like, oh, he likes the cooties. But from then to now, the only thing that changes is just got more political. Like, it became racial, it became like whether or not you fit in the crowd, and that was dictated by how you acted and who you hung out with and what you dressed like and how you talked. So it just kind of more political.
You suffered bullying in New Jersey?
Yeah, for a while.
But you were in 7th and 8th grades there? Even
younger, 6th grade, 5th grade in New Jersey. I believe it was 6th grade. But yeah, it was basically targeted because of my weight at that time, because I used to be bigger. For a while, I was just like that Hispanic kid that was new, because I would move a lot. Me and my mom moved a lot through New Jersey. Like, we weren't just in one area of New Jersey. And so it was like the new kid that spoke or very little or broken English, who was big and, like, didn't fit in with the rest of the kids. So yeah, it was tough for a while, until I found, like, humor was my way of kind of fitting in for a while with the kids. But it wasn't good humor. It was like class disruption. Like, I would like make fun of myself and like disrupt the class, and the teachers would just, like, they would write on my disruption in class, but I didn't care, because I was making friends, or I was fitting into a group because of it.
No, that was not really you. You have to
be
somebody else.
Yeah,
to protect yourself.
Definitely, because if I didn't want to be picked on, so I just, first off, I beat him, to it. Like, I would make fun of my own weight first, and I remember throughout middle school, like, I used to do the, like, Homer Simpson impressions and Family Guy impressions, and I was really good at it, and I used to do it in class to the teachers, and the kids would be laughing, and they would, like, love to sit around me because of that. But it was hurting me, because I wasn't trying in school, and I was just kind of being that kid, and teachers didn't like it. So it was hurting me more than it was helping me, but it was helping me survive socially, but not academically.
But New Jersey is a lot of Hispanic Latino population.
Yeah, I guess, but it was more, the schools that I went to, thanks to my mom having a really good job, were more higher, you know what I mean? Higher
income
classes, and that usually tended to be like the American, Caucasian. It wasn't that I remember kids that I hung out with. There wasn't really that. It wasn't really that diverse. Like it was mostly white kids, and that's what I have in my memories.
So they definitely was because they targeted you because you were overweight, because you were a Latino, you were with a heavy accent. That's New Jersey.
Yeah.
That was your middle school days.
Yeah.
Now you moved to Cincinnati,
Mm-hmm.
and you still suffered bullying?
Yeah.
How was what was the difference and compared to New Jersey and here, how was it?
Well, I guess once we got to high school is really when it changed because I lost weight in high school, joined the wrestling team, but I never really got into it, you know what I mean? Like I like the sport, I just didn't like the authority. The authority figure's always been an issue, but I think the change happened in that, first off, they weren't making fun of me for my weight, they were now picking on me because I found a different kind of passion. I decided to start doing music and wanted to be like this big hip-hop name, like star, and I still do, like I love to do hip-hop and rap and all that, but I guess since I was taking it really seriously, kids were like treating it as a joke, and they kind of saw me as that. Once I started getting attention for it, whether good or bad, because we did like hand out CDs and people knew me for that reason, me and my friend, they were like, oh, you guys are the rappers, and we'd be like, yeah, and some people received it really well, people that we got along with, and but most of the kids were like awful about it, you know what I mean? They were just like, oh yeah, that's great to our face. But then behind our back, there was this rumor of, oh, they got no talent, they got no skill, they're not going anywhere. And it would get back to us, and we'd be like, okay, well, that's cool. Also, just the fact that we were kind of different. Like, me and my friend, he fit in more, but like, me personally, I never fit into one group. I would have friends in every single clique. You know what I mean? Like, I would have people I talked to from, the football players, like everybody at some point in time I talked to and got along with at some point in time. But I never had one set group of friends, and I think that's why, I never went to like social events. Like I didn't go to basketball games or anything because, the popular kids were, there and they were doing their thing, and they like pinpointed little things about,
Tell me, like what? Because those small things, that's the one that hurt the most.
Yeah. Because
it's becomes a big issue for a teenager, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, they break you down slowly. You know what I mean? They kind of kick at you a little bit until you can't stand back up, or you feel like you can't. But like, they pick on the music thing a lot because it was important to me. They would pick on me just randomly, like, for a lot of racial humor. Like as it started coming, with
Mexican jokes.
Yeah, the immigration issue really started. Like that was the start of the border hopping jokes, and you know what I mean, like little things that I could see the humor in it. You know what I mean? But after a while, like when it's done purposefully to hurt you, you know what I mean? When it's not done generally, like comedians do it in a general sense. They just kind of say a joke that's racist, and everybody kind of. You know what I mean? They kind of receive it, and it's like, oh, okay, well, in a general sense, because it's not done at a specific individual. It's not done to hurt.
Andy, in New Jersey, you start making jokes about it. How you survive here in a high school? How you survive? What did you have to do to protect yourself?
That was actually, it was harder in high school. I hated high school. I still do. I didn't like my experience, but it was basically just luck. Like I survived. I didn't really have a mechanism now because my humor was still there. It's always been there. You know what I mean? So I kind of used that for the most part, but I just became really angry. I just remember just hating everybody and hating.
And what about your grades?
People went down. As time passed, I started not liking the scene of high school, and I didn't feel like I fit anywhere, and I wanted to gain people's respect, but I wanted to do it quickly. Like I didn't want to have to wait 12 years to become a doctor and then have people be like, oh, okay, now we can respect you. I wanted it right there and then, so I was trying to make it big with music, because everybody looks up to the like celebrities, so I wanted to be something along those
You want to be a
lines.
celebrity so you can be respected
Right.
instead of being bullied.
Right, so I wanted people to hear what I have to say and not make fun of it, not like think it's stupid or crazy or anything like.
But Andy, you suffer so much, and you quietly wait for 360 days, every single day when will be over, because that was not only freshman, it was sophomore, junior, all the 4 years.
Yeah, yeah. I think it helped to find friends in specific areas. I made one really good friend / teacher. His name's Ben Van Winkle, and he's a great guy.
So it was a mentor for you, help you with the tough time.
Yeah, on my sophomore year, I met him at the gym. Like I was trying to get bigger, you know, to kind of feel more confident, to not be scared of these kids, and just as a person.
These kids, who? What is it?
It changed year to year, but it would be like a specific group of kids that would pick on me more. You know what I mean?
The sports,
yeah, definitely.
Football guys.
It was those people. You know, the kids that you walk around thinking that they are on top of everything.
But this Ben, a teacher, how he helped you?
Basically, I met him in the weight room, and he gave me tips on how to get to where I wanted to be, like, you know, looking wise in the gym. And then just like working with him every day, like I just saw like he basically set the mold for who I wanted to be. He was like involved in sports. He was breaking records in high school, had lots of friends everywhere, was doing great in school, like talented kid.
So it was a role model for
Yeah,
you.
definitely. So, and he kind of paved the way, so, and gave me tips, and he never once treated me like the other kids. Like I felt like I had a genuine friend, because he never once treated me like I was below him, even though I felt like I was. Like he had so much going on and I didn't. But he never once, like even around other kids that would make fun of me, that would like him, he would just come up and talk, like treat me like a little brother, basically. And that was a great feeling. So.
But you found the friends, but you went through a terrible depression.
Yeah.
You have to take medicine. How was that stage of your life, and also how you left the depression? You stopped being depressed. You know, what did you do to help to get out of the depression?
Yeah, it was a mix of things. I basically one friend isn't enough. You know what I mean? It's not enough, and he wasn't always around, and so. You know, during the like after school, I could see him and work out and like talk to him about like what was going on, and you know, but during school it was just like me versus the world, right? And not liking school, you know, that contributed. Being picked on about it and not feeling like I was getting anywhere with this goal of getting people's respect, that contributed to being depressed. And then besides the medicine, I got a girlfriend, which was great, because she helped my self-esteem a lot, and I realized that she didn't like who I was.
Because there was no you.
She didn't like who I was turned into by these kids and by, you know, school and just everything coming on top of an individual, especially someone who doesn't, you know, isn't from here. She didn't like who I had turned into, so she left. But I didn't want her to go, you know what I mean? So I snapped out of the depression, because that was the main thing that I knew why she left. Because I was always depressed, and I didn't want to go out with her, like, not out with her, but I didn't want to go out places with her. I didn't, I was just always angry at everyone and everything. She would be like, hey, this person wants us to go to this party, and I'd be like, yeah, I hate them. You know what I mean? Like,
you hate everyone.
Right, like, yeah, why would I go to a party with these kids? I'm just gonna want to hit them. Like it was just very bad things. So.
Well, did you hit the bottom?
I did.
And it was tough, because I know your mom, and it was tough.
Yeah.
It was a family to see you as you. But tell me, now you're all the way to the top. You know, you found help with a teacher, your girlfriend. You were under medication. You went to see a psychologist?
I did for a while, yeah. But I didn't really like it. She did help, but I felt like, you know what I mean, like psychologists were for crazy kids. And I felt like, it's like she would basically listen and then say, like, it was just a waste of my time that I could be using to get respect, to further this dream that I
Because
had.
in your mind you were thinking, I need to get respect, I need to get respect,
Right.
what I have to do today to gain respect.
Right.
So you were all the time thinking about this, and another day, what you have to do to gain respect. And now that's tough.
Or how to get to this goal to get everyone's attention and finally stop getting, nailed with a lot, like.
So you finished high school,
Yeah.
and you still have a bad memories there.
Yeah.
You still hated it, or you?
I still don't like it. I mean, I see people from high school that I had problems with, and now I don't care as much because I'm in a better place and I kind of know where I'm going. Not 100%, but I definitely feel good about where I'm at. In
Well, that's
every
the good thing
aspect.
about it, because you finished high school,
Yeah.
you're working, you're studying,
Mhm.
Save University.
Yeah.
You have a scholarship.
I do.
He has a full scholarship, and he's going to be a MD, a doctor,
That's the goal.
and he's doing a wonderful job. How we can help, or mothers, Latinas, or anybody that is having a child suffering bullying, being bullied, and as a teenager, do you think you have a tips for them to help
For
them to go
parents.
through bullying?
For parents to help, or for parents to figure out if something's going on.
Those two, because we don't know how to figure out, because I know that you become quiet, I'm fine.
Right.
So how we can just open that I'm fine, mom,
Yeah.
and to see that you are not fine, you were not fine.
Well, I guess we could start with how to kind of identify it,
Mhm.
because that's really the important thing. Because teenagers don't talk like to their parents whatsoever. It's unless if you have that kind of relationship. But basically, to identify, like I know personally, like all of a sudden I became angry, like really angry, and it was a change. Like it wasn't just like I isolated myself, which I did. So isolation, like weird isolation, if your kid usually likes to go out and do things or is excited about certain events and all of a sudden they don't, that's something to look for. Or if but the anger, like if all of a sudden anger's like being shown to the family, because I used to get mad at my mom, like and I was so mad at like how my life was going that she would come in and be like, "Are you okay?" And I'd lash out. I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm fine." You know what I mean? Like, "I'm fine. Leave me alone." And it was an anger that I never had towards her because she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything to me. She's always been there, provided. And so, yeah, anger in weird ways towards people that you normally wouldn't. If you stop being social, obviously. Basically, symptoms for depression, I guess, would go hand in hand with it, because it does.
And the grades too.
It does hit you hard, and it does make you feel like you're not worth, anything. And I was looking on Facebook, and there's that post. It might be the same post, but some girl was bullied and committed suicide, and we have a lot of those where people are like, "Oh my gosh!" And then we have seminars and people. Teachers like talk
So
to
the school, they
students.
talk about bullying,
Right.
and they were helping, but
Right, like, and then after tragedies like that happen, like everybody's interested and everybody cares and everybody's prayers go out, but the kids do it the next week or that day, and they don't even realize it sometimes. Like it's crazy. Like some of the same kids that cause the bullying are the ones that are like, "Oh yeah, did you hear?" You know what I mean? Like and it's like, well, you did it. Like you're the
do
one.
it every day to
Right,
leave,
like
and
you kind of do it to everybody else. Like you don't even pretend. So yeah, that's a problem. But to identify, yeah, look for anger, look for isolation. Yeah, just basically if they start not wanting to go out as much, or if there's like some problems with making friends, or they just dieting, you know what I mean, like appetite. If all of a sudden they're not.
don't wanna eat.
If they just show like a weird change, even if it's like more like quick to push you out than usual, because yeah, no kid likes their parent like over them 24/7. But I mean, if simple questions like who you going out with, or why don't you go, if you make the suggestion, why don't you go out and do this, and they go like, nah, you know what I mean, like I'll be fine, I'm focusing, you know what I mean, and then they don't do anything, like that's something to watch out. Like the advice for the parents.
Okay.
Would have to be the biggest one, is have that relationship with the teenager where you know and you make it clear to them from as soon as they go out, as soon as they start doing their own thing, have that relationship to where you can talk to them and they know they can talk to you if something gets really bad. Because I know that that's the biggest thing. Like, we need somebody to talk about this too. Like, without somebody to vent to, then it resorts to violence, and then it can be dangerous, because that's when you have like the suicides or the shootings or the aggressive behavior, because it has to come out somehow.
The anger.
So yeah, talking is definitely the best alternative, and they can only do that when they can trust you to not overreact, not be like, oh my God, well, let me go call the office right now and get the principal on the phone. This is unacceptable, because we know that the principals can't do anything. We've accepted the fact, or we created the fact in our heads. I know that I personally didn't tell anybody, because no one wants to be that kid to be weak enough to tell. Two, nobody wants, we know that there's going to be a meeting. They're going to sit down with the kid and say, anonymously, you've been picking on somebody. Well, they know who they've been picking on. They know who it is. So it's going to get worse. B, that whole thing where they sit down in the office, and then usually these kids are like the football players. The kids that are social. The kids that have support from other people, other friends that say, no, he's not like that. And teachers like them because they're social. They make jokes in class with the teacher and this and that. Like, they're those kids. So nobody suspects them of being terrible. Like, there was that case, with the Stacy Schuller case or whatever, where, everybody was like, oh, you ruined their innocence. How could you? Those kids know exactly what they were doing. They're of age. They're not dumb. Like, they know exactly what they were doing. They're not innocent by any means, because some of those kids were the ones, doing bullying.
Of course.
So it's like, okay, we know that everybody's going to be on their side, the little angels, and parents are going to rally behind them, and we've got nothing. It's just us. Nobody can prove it, because all their friends think they're hilarious and awesome, and nobody likes us. That's why we're being picked on. So we know telling isn't going to do anything, at least not, principals. So that's why, we don't want our parents to go and call the office right away. So if we know that they're willing to sit down and talk to us rather than take action or be outraged, you know what I mean? Like, kind of share empathy, share like how we're feeling, and kind of talk us through it, almost like I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? Like, kind of say, yeah, I understand. I know what's going on. It's going to happen, but you're better than this. Because that's what it is. Bullying really just makes you feel like you're nothing. So as long as you have, now that's the advice for teens. Like, the biggest thing that got me back on top is having a support system. Having the people, friends, parents, my girlfriend, my sister, anybody who's willing to look at you in the eye and genuinely tell you you're not worthless. You're actually doing something. What they're doing doesn't matter. That's why a lot of these misfits kids become friends, and suddenly you have the group of kids that are like, everybody else thinks they're really weird, but they seem happier than anybody else in the school. It's because they have that support system. You know what I mean? They're together, and they're not based.
So find your support system that they can help you go through this.
Yeah.
Because you will not find those at school.
Right. Like, at school, it's really hard to, unless you find other kids that are being bullied, and even then, those kids more than likely are isolating themselves and hating others. So yeah. I mean, me personally, I had the friend I was doing music with, Philip Terry, really great guy. He also, every day, we'd sit at the lockers and write music together and further this goal that we had of being music stars, So he definitely kept me, sane and focused. My little sister, my mom, always checking up on me, telling me, everything's gonna be all right. On those days where I just literally couldn't handle it, like I was just by myself, didn't want to be around anybody, I could always joke with my sister, my little sister, always. So she was always there, great support system. My girlfriend, no matter what, I love her because she's been through it all with me, and yeah, she's always got my back. And this teacher, this mentor, then he was always there. And just randomly, like, the best part about him, like, I looked up to him like a brother, because randomly, without me talking to him for weeks, he just text or call and be like, hey, just wondering how you're doing, hope everything's okay.
He knew that you were bullied?
Yeah, and but like randomly he would stand up to the people that would do it, like, because he was big and strong, and people knew it. So that was also great. But like, without me asking or without any obligation towards me, he would just randomly text me to see how I was doing, check up, like, hey, how are you doing, man? Miss you. Like, how is everything? And that really hit here, because not a lot of people were like that. And his friends, the people he associated with, I became good friends with another one. His name's Jaja Kaminsky and Jaja Smith. Sorry, and he
helped you too.
Yeah, he was just like Ben. He helped me on those times where Ben couldn't be there, or when I needed to pick me up. You know, he was there. When my girlfriend and I split up, you know, he was there. So yeah, support systems are huge to survival. And the second thing that I kind of said as I was saying this first advice for teens is an even bigger piece of advice, and this is important. This is the important one, because not everybody can find a support system like that as extensive. So the individual aspect, like how you personally help yourself, is find something that just gets your attention, that you like doing more than anything else in the world, and you know it, and you do that thing. And you just
focus.
Yeah, focus. Just do it. Because for me, it was the music, and it was working out. And now it's becoming a doctor, and the music still. Like, I love it. It's taken my attention away.
You will become a doctor.
Right.
Now you're at the universities, and have you seen these people that bullied against you? They were bullied.
I've run into them, but not in the
They're at the university. Do you know anything?
I've ran into them. I ran into a couple of them, and some of them, you know, like all of them actually, almost act like it never happened.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, just, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Like, you remember what you did to me? No. But I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm not holding some sort of weird, like, hostile revenge plan or anything. So lucky for them, I guess. But yeah, I'm not bitter about it, because I'm in such a good place right now.
You're in such a good place. You wanting to become a doctor. What do you want to be? I heard that you want to be a psychologist first, to study.
Psychology was my main.
Because you want to help other people.
It was basically that. Like, I just wanted to figure out how people worked up here. Like, what made them do what they do. And it started with kind of like dating psychology, like that got me into it, because I was like, whoa, you mean you can figure out, like, you know, why certain people like each other? Like, that's great. But psychology was like the main thing at first. But now that I'm taking bio classes and all that, like, I just like everything that has to do with that. So right now, I don't know exactly what kind of MD I want to be, but I'm learning as much as I can about everything.
Would you like to share a message?
I guess just that it's really hard for those kids, you know, those kids. It's really hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel. Really, really hard, especially when it's just like starting and everybody's like, oh, once you get to college, people mature and you're fine. So just get to college. But even college bullying happens, like, not as much, because everybody's kind of focusing on their own path, and it's such a big place that you can choose to avoid those people, you know. So, but people will find ways, you know, even in the offices, like, there's bullying, even if you don't call it bullying, you know what I mean? Like,
you call it microaggression.
Harassment or this and that. Like, it's just, it's always going to be there, but as long as you're in a good place personally, you know, you have your support system, you find out what you want to do and something that interests you, and no matter what, you just go after that, you know what I mean? You, like, do your own thing. Or my music group was based on that principle. It's called Do Your Dance, like, do your own moves, do what makes you happy. So as long as you're in a good place, no matter how many people come at you, you see light. You're at the end of the tunnel. And you know, the best feeling is probably when you're in your darkest time. I think you see no way out, and that's why suicide happens. You know what I mean? Like, because they see no alternative. But I'm telling you, there's a feeling like way like more relieving than anything I've ever felt ever, and that is being in a really good place and then looking over your shoulder and seeing like how far you've come and how there was an exit like, this entire time. Because I remember, you know, in that state of depression, like thinking about all sorts of bad things, where it was like, there's no way, like I don't even want to live, like there's no point in it. And now I'm like, thank God I waited and survived, because now I have full support system, I have a passion, I have more than one, I'm doing great, I have all sorts of friends that have my back, you know, from Xavier, from Mason High School, mentors, you know, all sorts of things, and I'm doing things that I would have never gotten to see otherwise. And another big piece of advice or information, I guess, or a new perspective would be that a lot of kids don't realize that, you know, you get bullied for, let's say, from middle school to high school, or from middle school to even college. You know, that's a good 12 years of bullying, and that's awful. But what they don't see is that there's like a whole nother spectrum of life that they haven't gotten to live yet. And that can't all be bad. There's no way that's all bad. You still have to find your soulmate, and that's going to be a ridiculously enjoyable experience. You can have children, that's enjoyable. Any parent will tell you it's rewarding. And you become a figure in their eyes, somebody they look up to. You've got a lot to look, you know, forward to in life. Fulfilling your goals, dreams, vacationing or traveling. It all depends on how you approach it and how much work you put into it. And that's what people should be focused on. You know, not the relationships, not the bad thing. Focus on the good things.
Focus on the good thing. Thank you so much. Today we're celebrating Andy's courage, but the future. Please let us know when you will be a medical doctor. We will be here, and we will probably interview again, because we're so proud of you. Thank you so much.
That would be amazing. Oh, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.